Alright guys, this is No Pop Allowed, the ultimate hero on most forums. You can see, of course, here's my G6r again, just like all my other recent videos. I've been requested multiple times to do a kind of disassembly video, at least, some kind of video to show the maintenance, how to clean your gun and things like that, and, some people wanted to just see what it looks like on the inside, how it comes apart and stuff like that, so I'm gonna do that for you. I'm gonna try and do basically an entire disassembly. I'm also gonna try and do an entire reassembly. I'm gonna do probably taking apart the regs and stuff. I don't know if that'll be a separate video or not, but we're gonna see how everything goes here. I've actually attempted this video already, and the first time I did it turned out really poorly. So I've set up the camera a bit differently, and I don't know. We'll see if this turns out any better or not. Anyways, here we go. I may as well get started. It's gonna probably take a pretty long time, and I'm going to go slowly, so hopefully I don't screw anything up. Keep in mind, I'm not super practiced. I've only taken the gun apart entirely maybe once or twice, so hopefully it's not too much of a challenge. And I'm actually going to pretty much fully assemble it. The only stuff I won't be touching is just the manifold and things inside the grip. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead, start taking the regs off. Obviously those are going to have their own parts and components and their own maintenance that has to be done on them, so I'll take them completely off for now. What you will definitely need is a good set of Allen wrenches. So I've got some nice ball end ones I actually just recently bought, because it's really nice to have a nice ball end set for this specific task. Oops. So first thing I'm going to do here is actually take off the feed neck. Now, right away there isn't really much reason to do this, but eventually you will have to take off the feed neck if you want to take the two halves of the body apart. Hopefully it's not zoomed out too far, but that's the feed neck there. You can see it's just a friction fit onto the top there with the collar. As I go, I'm also going to clean up the gun a bit. Okay, so there's that stuff. It's probably out of frame, but whatever. Okay, what do we want to start with? May as well take the bolt out. We'll also take out the ram and everything. Okay, so there's the ram, and the ram cap and everything are out. So really, I'm going to start out by taking apart these grips. I think this is too big. And I'm probably going to drop a whole bunch of stuff because I'm kind of clumsy like that. Don't have a small enough Allen in this set. So I'm going to take the grips entirely off. So there's the grips, if you've never seen them before. Pretty basic. They do have this sort of seal around the outside that's supposed to make it a little bit more waterproof. It only goes like halfway around it, so I'm not really sure how effective it is, but there's some pretty nice grips. I'll give you that. They're pretty nice. Okay, what do we got here? So I'm going to take off the grip screws, the frame screws. There's one here behind the reg, and the other one is actually a different size as well, but it's actually inside of the body. You have to go through the slot where the bolt runs. It's fairly easy to get in and out. but definitely a little bit more challenging than if the screw's on the outside. I don't know exactly why they decided to go with this setup. I guess maybe just make it look cleaner on the outside instead of going through the back here and having a screw showing. I guess I couldn't tell you for sure, but that's what I get from it. I don't know about what their actual purpose was. Alright. So now we get to a pretty tricky part of the whole procedure, and I'm going to try and use pliers here. Obviously, if you're removing the frame, you want to remove the wires from the board, and it's best to use either be really careful with your fingers, or try and use a pair of pliers, something like this, with really fine tip, so you can actually just pop the connectors out instead of pulling on the wires. From my experience, believe me, I've done that more than once in my paintball life. I've pulled wires out of these connectors, and that is a real pain to try and fix. So I would say be careful with them, as careful as you can, because they are delicate. They're probably the most delicate part of a gun, the wires and stuff. So in the frame here, I guess I'll pop the trigger out. The trigger I guess I could have taken out earlier. The trigger is removed from the front on this gun, which is pretty unique, and I actually really like that setup because if you get paint and stuff in your trigger, it's actually pretty easy to get in and out. So all you have to do is remove your trigger screw, there it is, and then the trigger will just pop out the front. There you go. The only real difficult part about it is putting it back in, just because there's a spring in the way. You just have to line it up. You have to kind of pay a little bit of attention, but other than that, it's pretty easy to do. So I don't know, some people complained about it being hard or something to do. I don't know, I find it really easy. There's a battery. Let's see, I guess I'll take the ASA off. So this is where having a ball end Allen wrench is really nice. So there's the two ASA screws. Hopefully I don't lose any of this stuff. So first off, here's the ASA. Seems pretty simple. Screw your bottle in here, screw in all of this air channel stuff should stay pretty much intact and in working order all the time. So, you know, just make sure you don't bump these O-rings or take them off or anything, because you really don't need to for any reason. I could take the board out, but there's really nothing, there's no real reason to. It's pretty easy to take in and out. It's just, you know, it's a lot of work for really no reason at all. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the ASA here. I think I've talked in a couple of videos about the ASA. Basically, when I got mine from the factory, it wasn't working very well. I had to, I'd turn it on, air up the gun, and I'd screw it all the way out, and you'll see it stops right about there. It stops. And when I got to that point, the air still hadn't released itself. So what I did was this screw here in the bottom of the ASA is actually just a set screw, where when you loosen it off like so, you can actually take out this entire plunger. So that's the piece that's going to be pushing, just a sec, it's going to be pushing this little piston. So you can see here, pretty small parts, but this little piston is what presses onto your tank. Hopefully that's in frame. This little pin at the end is going to press into your tank pin, and this part here is what's going to push it into your tank pin. So you turn this in, and this pushes against your tank. Now, what happened for me is I would turn this all the way out until it hit this set screw inside the ASA, and it wouldn't quite release the air. So I backed this out a little bit, And then I actually just turned it a little bit further than it was allowing it to go with the set screw in, and it would allow the gun to degas. And I just did that a few times. It kind of broke in the ASA to the point where now it works pretty much flawlessly. So that's the ASA. To put that back together, you're just going to toss this piston in, push in the plunger, get the thread started, and then of course get your set screw back in. And there you go. Perfect. Okay, now the body. Next thing we're going to go after is the eyes. So the eyes, of course, these covers will come off. Very easy to lose parts here. So, keep track of your eye covers and eye screws. These are some of the most common things to lose, is detents. So right now what I'm going to do, got this little tin here. I'm going to toss all these parts in so I don't lose them. So this is where you're going to need a different tool than most people will carry around. What it takes is actually, I believe it's a Phillips number 0. Maybe it's a 1. Yeah, it looks like it's a Phillips number 1. So, I mean, you might carry that around with you, but for the most part, it's something that you might have to go and pick up a mini screwdriver set for. So, loosen that off. And don't drop it like I did. Anyways, keep track of those because they're easy to lose, and you'll be like me and searching for this little thing in the dark. Anyways, here's your eyes. Where'd those go? So you can pop them up. You can take these eye boards off the wires here, but there's really no need to do so. Clean some of the paint up under here. Good enough. There's no need to do so. You definitely can. Say you had to get a replacement eye, or if you were putting in 4C eyes, all you have to do is just pop this off of the connector, put on your new eye board, and you're done. Okay, so same thing on this side. I'm getting close to the 15-minute point, I think, so unfortunately this one might end up being 2 parts, so sorry about that, guys. Okay, so there's your eyes, open and off. So last thing you got to do here to take apart the body, this one, is you'll need obviously a pretty long Allen wrench, either that or ball end one, and you'll be able to start by loosening these off because they're probably going to be pretty snug. And then you'll be able to just twist it out both sides. And now your body falls into 2 pieces. So I'll try not to lose these screws, but that's my front. Basically the front has nothing in it at this point, just the very top of your front regulator, and all there is in there is a Schrader valve, I think. And this is all completely empty. In the back half here you got your poppet spring, and if I can get this bad boy out of here, sometimes tough to do. And there's your valve. So you can see Delrin tip valve. And there you go. That's pretty much as far as I'm going to go. You can see in here the manifold and solenoid and everything are still built into the body. That's something that you really never have to deal with, and I don't even want to try and deal with it, because if I screw something up there, then my gun's going to be kind of toast. I'm sure I could take it apart and see what's in there and stuff, but I'm really certain there's no reason to do so. As you can see, you got to your valve, so if you needed to replace your valve or you just wanted to clean it up and relube it, here we